Bonjour mes amis, je m'appelle Ethan Sellers. Je suis le chanteur, pianiste et guitariste du groupe acadien et zydeco, de Travaillant. Aujourd'hui, je vais partager mon recette du gumbo de mon père, mais non en anglais. Hello friends, my name is Ethan Sellers and I am the singer, pianist, and guitarist for the Cajun and zydeco band Le Travaillant. Today I'm going to share the recipe that I sing about in my song, Gumbo de mon père. I call it my post-Thanksgiving walk, run, or swim gumbo because the various critters that went into it, turkey, pigs, fish, shrimp, and crab, either walked, ran, or swam. Turkeys don't really fly. This recipe is for the gumbo that my family makes after Thanksgiving when we have a leftover turkey and a turkey carcass whose bones we boil to make a rich homemade stock. Post-Thanksgiving gumbo was more or less the only time of year that my New Orleans born and raised dad cooked for the family. I grew up in Pennsylvania, and I had Thanksgiving at my grandparents' house in Ohio. So it was a bit of Louisiana that my late father brought up north. Nowadays, my wife, kids, and I live up in Chicago, which is no closer to the Gulf of Mexico and Cajun country than Ohio is. As a result, we sometimes end up going to several different grocery stores to get everything we need, but it's worth it to keep a treasured family tradition alive. I suggest that you read the whole recipe through long before you start, so that you know that you have everything lined up and ready to go. Other than stirring the roux and making the turkey stock the night before, most of the work of making this gumbo is in the preparation of the ingredients. If you do all of your chopping and seasoning beforehand, everything goes pretty smoothly, so make sure you do that. For seasoning the gumbo throughout the cooking process, you will need salt, freshly ground black pepper, cayenne, filet powder, and bay leaves. You are also going to make a Cajun/Creole spice blend for seasoning the meat. The Cajun Creole spice blend includes paprika, salt, garlic powder, black pepper, onion powder, cayenne pepper, dried oregano, and dried thyme. For the roux, you will need 1 cup all-purpose flour and 1/2 cup vegetable oil, or an equivalent amount of salted or unsalted butter. For those who are following a gluten-free diet, cassava flour also works for the roux. Here are the veggies you need to prep: okra, onions, celery, green bell peppers, tomatoes, garlic, parsley, and green onions. We also include a whole bunch of different meat. We use a firm flesh fish, such as grouper, snapper, or monkfish, andouille sausage, our leftover turkey, medium shrimp, peeled and deveined, and fresh lump crab meat. We're making a turkey stock to use for our broth. We're also making white rice and warming up some French bread for serving the gumbo. The ingredients for our turkey stock include the Thanksgiving turkey carcass, enough water to submerge that carcass in the pot, garlic cloves, bay leaves, thyme, parsley, salt, pepper, and some of our vegetable cuttings from preparing our other dishes at Thanksgiving. My family's post-Thanksgiving gumbo recipe originates from a desire to take a whole buffalo approach that gets the most value out of the food for which we're so thankful. While we're making our Thanksgiving dinner, we set aside the parts of onions, carrots, and celery that don't go into the dishes themselves, but are still just fine for adding flavor to the turkey soup stock. After Thanksgiving dinner, but sometime before we slip into a turkey and alcohol-induced coma, we cut and pull all the remaining meat off the bones. We toss the skin for the parts we plan on using in the gumbo, whether that's in the stock or the meat in the gumbo. We take the picked clean turkey bones and break them down enough to fit in a big soup pot. Then we put in enough water to mostly submerge the bones and vegetable scraps. We toss in some halved garlic cloves, bay leaves, thyme, and parsley. You can add salt and pepper if you like. We turn the heat up on the pot and bring it to a boil, then bringing it down to low and let it simmer for 6 hours, stirring occasionally. After cooking it, we filter it through a sieve and set it aside in an airtight container in the refrigerator until we use it the next day for our gumbo. If we have more than we need for gumbo, we freeze it for use within the next 3 months. Gumbo making day. It all starts with the delicious andouille sausage. Either pork or chicken sausage is fine. There's a lot of other stuff in this recipe that isn't kosher or halal, and is definitely not vegetarian friendly. Sorry, not sorry. In a wide, shallow cooking pan, heat 1 tablespoon of the vegetable oil or butter over medium-high heat. Brown the sausage, then remove the sausage with a slotted spoon and drain on paper towels. Set the andouille aside, but keep the fat in the pan for your roux. If you're going to make Cajun and Creole food, you need to know how to make a roux. It helps to thicken up the dishes and pull all of the flavors together. It's just flour cooked gradually in fat to a chocolate brown color. We tend to use Kerrygold Irish butter for the fat in our roux, but other kinds of butter or vegetable oil also work. When I first made roux, I used all-purpose white flour. Now that my wife is gluten-free, we've taken to using cassava flour for the roux, and we're able to get the same rich color. It's my understanding that cassava flour roux also works for paleo and AIP diets. We're going to use the same shallow cooking pan and your leftover fat from cooking the andouille to start our roux, mixing in the flour and more oil or butter as needed. Keep that flour and fat mixture stirred steadily over medium heat as it slowly turns to a chocolate brown. This is actually the hard part because you can't stop. You can't let it burn, otherwise you have to start over. You'll probably end up switching hands fairly frequently to avoid abusing your wrist. 30 to 45-ish minutes of continuous stirring is no joke, y'all. We've also had some good luck making a baked roux, which is a lot less labor-intensive but takes longer. You only have to stir it a few times, but it can take about 2 hours in the oven, so you'll have to plan a little further ahead for that. Now the okra. Get your large stock pot, probably the same one you used before to make the turkey stock for the broth. Over medium heat, add the oil. When the oil is hot, add the okra. Season the okra with salt and cayenne. You'll need to stir slightly less continuously than with the roux, but you'll need to keep it moving. As you're stirring, watch to see when the slime disappears. In our house, we call the slime okra snot. You prepped your vegetables beforehand, right? Add your prepped vegetables, the onions, the garlic, the celery, the peppers, and the tomatoes to the okra. Season with salt and cayenne. Continue cooking, stirring often for about 20 minutes, or until your vegetables are soft and the okra snot has completely disappeared. Add the bay leaves. Add the andouille sausage and the fish to the vegetables and cook for 2 minutes. Add the turkey stock. Bring the liquid up to a boil. Reduce the heat to a simmer. Add your roux. Simmer for 1 hour. While the gumbo is simmering, get your rice ready to go and start toasting your French bread. About cooking the rice. We like Uncle Ben's or Trader Joe's jasmine rice. Popcorn rice is great if you can get it. We don't use instant rice. That's just sad. Health nuts may want to substitute whole grain or brown rice. Don't do it. Believe me, I've tried it. White rice is better for soaking up gumbo flavor. You're going to need long grain white rice, water, unsalted butter, salt, and bay leaf. In a 2-quart saucepan, combine the rice, water, butter, salt, and bay leaf and bring to a boil over high heat. Reduce the heat to low. Cover and simmer until all of the liquid is absorbed, about 20 minutes. Remove the pan from the heat and let it sit, covered and undisturbed, for 5 minutes. Uncover and fluff the rice with a fork. Discard the bay leaf and serve. Or, if you're like us and want to free yourself up for other tasks, you can also mix everything in a rice cooker and set it running. It's fine. Pour yourself a beer or a glass of wine because you're in the home stretch. You should also pop the French bread into the oven so that you can get it toasted. Back to the gumbo. We're going to add the seasoned shrimp, crab meat, and turkey. Once we've added that, we're going to stir in the green onions, parsley, and filet powder. We're going to keep it simmering for another 5 minutes. Serve the rice into the bowls or cups first, then ladle the gumbo on top. We usually enjoy our gumbo with a bit of French bread, and maybe a dash of Tabasco if we didn't add enough spice during the cooking. The rest of the meal. Gumbo isn't low calorie, even though it's soup, right? Maybe you want to have a salad or something, or just make a meal of multiple bowls of gumbo. No one will blame you. Beer goes great with gumbo. Wine pairings? Drink what you like. Sazeracs or Ramos Gin Fizz? Those are New Orleans classics if you like the booze. Hurricanes? Those are for tourists, sorry. Also, put some Louisiana music on for while you're cooking and while you're eating. My dad was from New Orleans. That's why I put tomatoes in my gumbo recipe. New Orleans, of course, is home to great jazz, funk, and, of course, second-line brass bands. That said, I usually listen to Cajun and Zydeco music when I'm making and eating gumbo. Also, if you want to have some live musicians while you're eating, then the acoustic sound of accordions, fiddles, and guitars are a better volume for a gathering of friends and family. Anyway, enjoy making your pot of post-Thanksgiving walk, run, or swim gumbo. I hope you can make a family tradition out of it like we have. Bon appetit!